Okay, hello, hi. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to identify the slope and the y-intercept algebraically. Okay, so the first equation I have is this linear equation, y equals 5x minus 2. And they want to identify the slope and the y-intercept algebraically. So how do you do that? So I will say the first step is to remember, okay, what is the general equation of the slope of a line in slope-intercept form? And some of you might remember, okay, so the general equation is y equal mx plus b. So when you have a general equation, you remember this, y equal mx plus b, which we call the slope-intercept form. You can see here that the m represents what? The m represents the slope. Okay, so m is a number in front of x. The number in front of x represents the slope. And what does b stand for? B stands for the y-intercept. Okay, so that's why we call this equation the slope-intercept form equation. Okay, because it gives us a slope and a y-intercept. So let's look at this example. Y equals 5x minus 2. So you may ask, okay, if I ask you to find the slope, so we see that m must be equal to, for our example, m is the number in front of x, and what is the number in front of x? Is 5. So remember, it's not 5x. Slope is a rate of change. It's a number, so you cannot include a variable x. So it's always a number, so it's 5, y, okay? So what is now going to be b, the y-intercept? So remember, so b is going to be the number by itself. So what is a number by itself? We call it constant. Here, the constant is 2, and the 2 has a negative, so it's negative 2. So always carry the sign. So the answer will be here negative, b will be negative 2. So to identify the slope, all you have to do, you look at the number in front of x, which is 5 for our example, and to identify b, the y-intercept, is a number by itself, which we call in math the constant. And the constant here is negative 2, the number by itself. And remember, you always carry the sign. Okay, so this is the example for part A. Now, let me give you an example for part B. Okay, again, we identify the slope, and I ask you to do for part B. So I give you the equation y equal, let's say, x plus 3. So again, what is m equal to, and what is b equal to? Okay, stop for a moment and try. Okay. Okay, so I hope you're able to see that the slope here, I know some of my students want to click 0 because they don't see a number. Again, it is not 0, okay? There is a number. If you don't see the number there, okay, the coefficient is 1 times x. The coefficient is 1. It's just that mathematicians do not write the 1. They assume that you know that there's a 1. So here, for example, the slope is 1, not 0. Okay, and the y-intercept is a number being added or subtracted to the x, and the number being added here is positive 3, so it's 3. Okay, so this is our example, the first set of example. So the next example I'm going to show you is when they give you the equation of line written in standard form. Okay, this one will be pretty easy to identify m and b because the equation is given to you. They already solved for y. Now, what about if I give you the equation in standard form? Okay, so let me show you a couple examples. Hi, okay, thank you for staying with me. So I gave you this equation of a line in standard form, and the reason why you call it standard form, as you can tell, all the variables are located on the left side of the equal sign, and the constant is by himself. So when I ask you to solve this to find the equation of a line, so to identify the slope and the y-intercept in standard form, the first step you want to do is we want to solve for y. Okay, and the reason is, remember the general equation of a line in slope-intercept form is y equal mx plus b, and here you see that y is being solved for already. Okay, because y is already solved for, we can identify the number for m and the number for b. So now here we have to solve for y. Okay, so so that you can write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form. So let's do this. So I want to solve for y, and I notice in front of a y there's a negative. Okay, so I don't want that. I want it to be a positive. So what am I going to do? Okay, I'm going to multiply both sides of the equal sign by -1, or I can just divide by -1. So I can get rid of the negative. So this term y it becomes a positive 6y. So let me do that. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to divide both sides by -1, or multiply by -1 is the same. So now be careful. Okay, if you only divide by -1 like that, you're not correct. Okay, you're changing the equation, right? You're changing the equation. So, and you do not want that. So make sure you divide every term by -1, okay? So you're not changing the equation, you are balancing, it's the same. But it's the same equation, but written differently. So let's continue. So here you will get what? We are taking the opposite of positive 4x, which is going to be -4x. The opposite of -6y is positive 6y. And the opposite of -24, of positive 24 is -24. Remember, divided by -1 or multiplying by -1 is the same meaning as to take the opposite of each term, okay? So now we have this, and I have now the 6y by itself, positive. So what we want to do here to solve for y means we want to isolate the 6y. You want it to be by itself. What do you have to do? So remember, you see that -4x is being added to 6y. So I'm going to add 4x to undo it so it can get canceled. And remember, whatever I do on one side, I have to do it on the other side. So I have to add 4x. So now the new equation is going to be what? So now I get here, these two cancel. I break down the 6y. I remember it's positive. That's what I want. That's why I wanted to, I'm divided by -1 so that I don't have to deal with the negative, okay? So now make sure you write the term with the variable x first. So you get 4x minus 24. Okay, then remember, if you don't see an operation right here, it doesn't mean it's addition. Okay, some of my students think it's a plus. Okay, you may think that it's a plus, but it's not a plus. Mathematician assume that you know that it's multiplication. There is a multiplication dot there. So it's 6 times y equal 4x minus 24. Again, the goal is to have y by itself. You want y by itself. So for y to be by itself, I need to undo multiplication of 6. So I'm going to divide by 6. And to balance the equation, I have to divide also by 6. Remember, you have to divide every single term on the other side. On the right side, you have two terms, so you have to divide both by 6, not just one, both of them by 6. So now 6 goes into 6, 1, okay, times y. Now, mathematicians, like I said earlier, when there is a 1, they don't really write the coefficient of 1. We leave it out. So I'm going to leave it out so you get used to. Okay, if you don't see the number again, it's not 0, but it's a 1 there. The coefficient is 1. So let's continue. So I have here, okay, 4 over 6 of x minus 24 over 6. Now, when you have the fraction, a ratio, always ask yourself, can you simplify the ratio? So when I look here, I can simplify, right? Okay, I can simplify by here, by dividing by 2, top and bottom, because the greatest common factor is 2. So I'm going to end up having 2 goes into 4 twice, 2 goes into 6 3 times, x, and then 6 goes into 24 many times? Again, 4 times, and there's a negative. Positive divided by negative is a negative. Okay, so you can see that the equation of a line in slope-intercept form is what? It's y equal 2/3 of x minus 4. And now we can identify, now you have to write, because they ask you to identify what is m equal to and what is b equal to. So given this equation, okay, what is m? It's 2/3. What is b? It's 4, because 4 has a negative, so it's -4. So this is your final answer, okay? So this is not the answer, okay? You use it to derive the answer. So be careful. Some you may want to stop here. So I will not recommend you to stop here because a question asks you to identify the slope and the y-intercept. So you have to identify, okay, m equal 2/3 and b equal -4. Okay, so that's the end for part B. And let me check your understanding. Okay, so I'm going to erase your whiteboard and give you a problem. So, okay, so the new equation I'm giving you is 3x minus 2y equal 12. Okay, so what is identifying the slope and then identify the y-intercept. Okay, so I hope you're able to see that there's a negative here, and you want to make sure it's the term with the y is positive. So it should be you are going to divide by -1 on both sides of the equal sign. Okay, so I'll just take the opposite of every term. So what is the opposite of positive 3x? Negative 3x. What is the opposite of negative 2y? Positive 2y. And what is the opposite of positive 12? Negative 12. Okay, so now let's continue. So the next step here, we want to isolate the term with the variable y. So you want to isolate 2y. So you need to get rid of -3x. So you're going to add 3x on both sides. Make sure you don't do that on the same side. Don't be tempted to write the 3x, the plus 3x right here. If you do that, you're adding 6x on the same side, and you do not want that, okay? So be careful when you to do it on the other side of the equal sign. That's why I do a vertical line and you add 3x. And then let's continue. So you bring down the 2y, which cancel out to 0. So you get 2y equal 3x minus 12. So always write the term with the x first, then the constant, -12. So we want to solve for y. So to undo multiplication of 2, we divide by 2. Okay, don't stop just right here. You have to divide by 12 by 2 too, -12 by 2. So now we end up having y equal 3/2 x minus 6. Okay, so we are not done. They ask for m, so m is equal to 3/2. Okay, which is a proper fraction. For me, I like to leave the slope as a fraction. In case you want to graph, it's easier to graph when the slope as a fraction. Okay, so and b is equal to -6. And that's your final answer. Okay, I hope the video was helpful, and thank you for staying with me until the end. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.